celebrating back-to-back Nats. Perfection wears red and black tonight. 15-0. The Dogs have done it and won a second consecutive national.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Not again.
Lead flicker to get the night started. Downfield looking for Godwin. Into his hands. And guess which Dogs are barking first? Uga, get after it.
Tony Michelle will send the Dogs home to the championship game.
And Bobo throws that thing in the end zone and yes! Touchdown! Touchdown in the goal line!
Sigue Ringo, corta dentro, Ringo, touchdown! Georgia!
The Georgia Bulldogs bludgeon their way to back-to-back. Glory, glory, Georgia, as the fight song says.
This is our love for each other. 1 + 1 = what? 3. We are better together and we are connected.
This is Robert Iron E. Singleton, a.k.a. D-Dog from The Walking Dead, or Alton from The Blind Side, and you are watching Respect the Hedges on the Fan Addict Sports Network. All right, guys, go Dogs, sick 'em.
Here you go. Welcome in. Welcome to Respect the Hedges podcast. We welcome y'all in, Dog Nation, and Respect the Hedges family. We here to talk a little world's largest outdoor cocktail party today. You know what I'm saying? But first, let's do a couple of introductions. With the Respect the Hedges, I myself, I'm Coach I, UGA alum. We got over here to my right, we got former wide receiver Thad Shawty Parker. What's going on, Thad?
What's happening?
Behind that, we got the coolest fan in the land. It's Cool Cal. What's going on, Cal?
What up? My RTH family. Glad to be here.
That's right. We're here to talk some Dogs and Gators. And right beside me, I got my guy, former wide receiver Corey Allen. What's going on, CA?
Glad to be here, man. I'm excited. Big time cocktail party. That means it comes with drinks, so we may as well get started.
That's right. And of course, to my left, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that got it all started for the tight end U. We got our guy, Javaris Johnson. What's going on? Former tight end at UGA.
Hey, big dogs and building, baby. We ready to sit here and represent. It's the cocktail party today. We talking about 3:30 down in Jacksonville, but we brought the party to Athens, Georgia, man. We ready to get it going today. And let me just make a correction. I ain't started, but I sure did continue.
I like that.
We got some partners with us today. First, we want to thank Creature Comfort for having us back out. They have us out for all the away UGA games. Shout out to Creature Comfort for putting on a great venue. And then, of course, we're always presented by the Tailgate Kings. We'll let Mr. JV tell us a little bit about the Tailgate Kings.
Hey, listen, man, Tailgate Kings has been a proud supporter of Respect the Hedges from the inception. Tailgate Kings, man, we are a curation event company. So whether you're doing corporate events, whether you're doing conferences or conventions, man, we got something for you. We also do and have a heavy service offering. So look us up, man. Go to Instagram, The Tailgate Kings. You see the crest, you see the logos behind us. Pretty much, we're a big family here, and we enjoy being able to be associated with one of the best podcasts in the land, man. So respect these hedges and respect these kings.
That's right. And over there where you can catch them always by the smoke, we got Black Girls Grilling.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go. Good food on there.
Right. So we got some food over there. If I'm not mistaken, they'll be selling pulled pork sandwiches, brats, smoked pound cake,
beef sausages from my boy Cal.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to taste that smoked pound cake, see what it's talking about. We appreciate them coming up today and giving us the good food.
Absolutely. You can find them by the smoke. You can catch them by the smoke.
Right. Today we're going to talk about a variety of things before we talk about the cocktail party. We're going to talk about some big games, in college football, some elimination games in the SEC. We're going to give some mid-season grades to the Dogs. We're going to talk about some key players and then some strategy. We're going to have some trivia for some prizes at the end as well, so make sure you're paying attention. We'll see how well you know your own Dogs. That's right. Let's get this thing started, man. Let's talk about these big college football games. We're watching one right now. Ohio State at Penn State. 14-10, Ohio State JV. Neither one of these teams are very well in the records. win column versus top 10 opponents, who's going to come out with the win today?
Man, personally, I'm going to tip my hat to Ohio State because I feel like Penn State is going to continue to Franklin. They're going to do exactly what they always do. They're going to show up early, then faint late. So, I mean, as we've seen, they showed up early in this game, taking a 10-0 lead, and they started to kind of faint already. So, yeah, I'm taking Ohio State reluctantly.
Okay, Thad. Hey, you know, we talked about you and Cal now talking about the quarterback play here. Who got the best trigger, man? Who you going with? We got Will Howard and Drew Eller, two that have left a lot to be desired, if I may say so myself.
Well, honestly, I got Drew ranked a little bit higher. But right now, it looks like Ohio State as a team, unfortunately, is playing better. So I don't know if it's going to necessarily come down between the two trigger men because when you look at their roster, I think Ohio State has the better roster. They spent the most money in NIL this year, so they definitely have the better roster. So I don't think it's just going to be a battle between the two trigger men, but they both are definitely important on the outcome of the game. But to JB's point, what I want to say is that this is a get on the hump game for Penn State. And if you can't win this game, it's almost like the same old Penn State.
Right.
So when can Franklin ever get over the hump?
Right. With that said, Cal, who got the most pressure? Because Ohio State fans will tell you it's Ryan Day because how he's performed against Michigan and not winning championships. Michigan won the championship, but like Dad said, Penn State can't seem to get over the hump when it comes to Ohio State, Michigan.
Absolutely. Great question. It's something that we talked about earlier. I think on the surface, when you look at it, I think we all know that Franklin needs a big win. He's never been in the playoffs before. Ryan Day has at least accomplished getting into the playoffs.
Facts.
But the expectations are different in Penn State versus Ohio State. And Ohio State is championship or bust. I think that Penn State would be very ecstatic if they just got into the playoffs. That's not good enough for Ohio State. And also, Ohio State already has a loss. They can't afford another loss, especially in conference, where I think that Penn State can afford a loss right now and still kind of accomplish their goals. But for Ohio State, it's championship or bust. If they don't win the championship, they might be looking to get a new coach this year.
I'm with you on that. Now, with that said, CA, like Cal said, Ohio State already got a loss, and it's to Oregon. I mean, how I look for these teams, these stalwarts in the Big Ten to let Oregon come in first? It look like they're running the place.
I mean, the look is real. I don't think these looks are deceiving. Oregon is a talented team, and then to have to take that trip to the West Coast and play on that, the different time zone and deal with a foreign environment, everybody's first time going out there, even some of the coaches. I think that definitely plays a difference because, any unfamiliar environment, you really are going to struggle to get that level of comfort into. So I think Oregon just really right place, right time. They're a strong team. They're a new team, and they've got an unfamiliar environment. That being the case, I think some of these Big Ten teams still need to step it up. They still need to really establish their type of play, which has been defense and run game dominant. But Oregon likes to put points up. So they're coming in with a completely different dynamic. It's almost like when Spurrier was throwing the ball early in the SEC a lot earlier than most other teams. I think that's just really exposing the Big Ten to what is more current as far as the offensive side of the ball. But it will allow for those teams to recruit to that, hopefully, in the future. Right now, it's showing a big difference for Oregon. So Oregon's a good team. They'll have to be dealt with, whether it's early or late, and they look strong as far as playoff potential. But, it's still a lot of football to be played. Oregon has collapsed late in the season before in games you might not expect, whether it's Oregon State or anybody else. So, we got to play all these games out. So we'll see how it pans.
Right. And like you talked about with the passing, coming in, throwing the ball like Spurrier used to do, we got another big matchup of two guys that like to pass the ball. You got Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, traveling to Arkansas, taking on Bobby Petrino and that offense under Sam Pittman. Shawty, this is another one of them elimination games. I mean, Ole Miss got 2 conference losses already, and, they might be thinking about them dogs on the horizon next week.
Yeah, and again, this is another get over the hump game, too.
Right.
Can Arkansas win a big game? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And shout out to Sam Pittman. I give him a lot of hell at AG double hockey team all year.
You already said hell.
Right. I just want to spell it out there and say it. But with that being said, Yeah, man. Shout out to Sam Pittman, man. I give him a lot of AT double hockey stick, man. And the fact that he's come in this year and turned his team around somewhat at this point in the season. I think he's doing a great job. With that being said, also Lane Kiffin, man, it's time to piss to get off the pot.
Right. And with that, what you talk about, we just talked about the pressure on Franklin and Day. Cal, I think Kiffin got some pressure too. I mean, he hasn't shown that he can win that big one. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Arkansas is an Alabama or nothing, but if he loses this one, that's 3 conference losses. This is a big game in that aspect.
Oh, absolutely. Because going into the season, obviously, because we've expanded to 12 teams, it's given 8 more teams hope. And I think that Ole Miss has felt like, hey, this is our time to get into the playoffs this year, just like with Penn State, because it's not just 4 teams anymore. If Ole Miss doesn't make it, it's a big disappointment for them. They've loaded up this year. Again, another team that went heavy in NIL this year, bringing in guys, trying to solidify and fortify their team, thinking that, hey, we can get over the hump this year, get into the playoffs. And I think if they lose this game, I don't know if Kiffin's on the hot seat, but I think we look at him a little bit differently in the fact that maybe he's not as good of a coach as we thought. But I just think that, again, with the expectations with Ole Miss, I don't think they're as high as some programs. And I think for them, maybe winning 10 ball games a year is good enough. But I think we look at him a little bit differently if he doesn't make it with this team. Jackson Dart's been a 4-year starter for him. And if they don't get over the hump this year, I just don't see when they're going to get it done.
Okay. Well, shout out to the people in the Facebook and YouTube world tuning in to the Respect the Hedges on the road. Stat guy gets in and says Ole Miss is currently rolling 28-3 in the second quarter. So
Pittman might be on the hot seat.
Right. I was gonna say, JB.
Good graces to the hot seat all in 30 seconds.
That grease was cold at first.
I was gonna say, so what did that mean if they hold on to this lead? I mean, Pittman was already kind of on teetering, you know what I'm saying? What they gonna say for him, JB?
These programs are in totally foreign territory than what a team like Alabama or Georgia is in, right? These guys, Ole Miss and Arkansas, I think, Charlotte, you brought it up in some episodes before, they have different expectations. And so I think that because Sam Pittman, his team show up at times during the season, his fan base is going to have to get to the point where that's not good enough anymore and get past the point to where they expect to be at least a playoff contention team. But for Ole Miss, to everybody's point on this on the panel, man, Lane Kiffin, he has a lot of cachet out in the industry and the market in this college football world, and they give him a lot of praise, but he don't really ever catch a lot of hit. Like Charlotte said, HE double hockey sticks. He rarely catches a bunch of strife, when they don't make the playoffs. And so that goes again to the expectations of his fan base, because the fans normally drive the activity. If your fans aren't raising hell and your fans aren't, giving up season ticket packages, then the administration just kind of rolls with it, right? Because they still get money. That's what they're here for. And Lane is a cash cow. Right. You can best believe that. But with them doing what they're doing right now, they still got the Dogs coming to town next week. And let's be clear, he's gonna have an L attached to his name. So they're gonna lose 3 games. What is that gonna mean for them? Then they still got a pretty hefty schedule to finish the season out. Shout out to Mississippi State, who might almost score 10 points this week, but might get Ole Miss hell.
Catching strays everywhere. With that said, man, listen, if like JB said, Lane Kiffin doesn't seem to get raked over the coals, CA, like some of these other coaches when they don't make it. If the Dogs handle business like we should in Jacksonville today, they may be looking for a coach, and there's word in the social media world that Lane Kiffin may part Ole Miss and head to Jacksonville, to Gainesville. You think that might happen if Ole Miss don't get it done this year?
I don't think Lane Kiffin has any stress at all either way, because, if they lose, he's just a top candidate for the next hot job. And he's going to get paid even more money, and he'll more than likely have better resources. So the expectation level will change wherever he goes, but he's going to get another shot if Ole Miss can't keep him in the building. So I don't think he's stressed at all. I think he's freelance. I think he's who he presents himself to be. He's not really wearing the stress. He understands there are going to be ebbs and flows. He knows the limitations of playing or coaching at Ole Miss. So, yeah, the fan base might want more, but it ain't because your coach ain't capable. You may need a deeper roster. You might need a few changes here and there, but I think he's the best that they can expect at Ole Miss. Not to shake any salt on it, but he's a great coach. It's been proven in a few different places. His attitude has gotten him out of places more than his effectiveness as a coach, in my opinion. So I think he's going to be a top candidate. Losing only puts him in position to take those interviews on a lot sooner than later. So it's not good for Mississippi regardless. But I think Lane is freelance. I don't think he's wearing the stress. As y'all mentioned, he's already up. And he's got a quarterback that's not willing, or actually that's willing to take chances. And he kind of likes that. So I think he can deal with what they're going through at Ole Miss. If they sneak into the playoffs, that's the best case scenario for them. He'll probably re-up and ask for more money. But I think he's in a strong position because of his name, the cachet, and he's able to recruit because young kids can still relate to Lane Kiffin.
Right. You say he might even parlay it into a raise, you know what I'm saying, at Ole Miss.
Every time.
Shout out to Talking Sauce, our Florida Gators podcast brethren. He says he don't think Lane Kiffin can recruit good enough to coach at Florida because you can do the transfer portal a little bit, but in Florida you got to recruit and develop. And Lane, damn right, because Dan Mullen wasn't a great recruiter either.
But the landscape changes. Florida recruits itself.
Exactly.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
so with that said, why couldn't Dan Mullen get it done?
Well, they got to do with it more than Dan Mullen in Florida.
Oh,
What
okay.
I'm getting at is Florida recruits itself. The landscape. It's hard to get a kid to come to Ole Miss as opposed to trying to get a kid to come to Gainesville.
Gotcha.
Let's be honest. We're talking about Lane Kiffin like he's only been at Ole Miss. He's been to the Raiders. He's been to Tennessee.
USC.
He's been to USC. This guy's had more chances than I don't know who I could think of. To be honest with you, who else? South Florida, right? So he took that South Florida and parlayed to the Ole Miss job. So when we talk about Lane Kiffin, maybe Lane Kiffin is it's not a resource thing. It's Lane Kiffin. He's okay. He's a good coach. I don't think he's a top tier guy that's going to come in and take you to a national championship.
But like CA said, so why? Like, I mean, we ain't got to dive too much in, but Lane, his name had that cachet, at least how we see it. You know what I'm saying? Out there when them jobs be open.
Yeah. So does Doc Rivers. But we just I'm being funny, but I'm just saying that
right.
This is the year that they loaded up for. I mean, you've got a guy 3-4 years starting your program. You loaded up your team. You got the NIL. We can't continue to give the guy excuses.
Right.
No matter where he's gone, he has not got it done. He's a good promoter. He's a Don King type of guy. He can promote, and it sounds good and it's great, but at the end of the day, it's not producing results.
Go ahead.
I think the difference in what Lane brings is he can recruit a quarterback, and that's a big missing piece in most places. He can get a young quarterback in there that at least gives you a chance, because if you don't have that, you don't even have an opportunity. And I think you're right. He's not proven that he's a championship caliber coach, but most schools need to have a high-end caliber quarterback under center to at least
what's the coach? Who's the coach in Florida right now?
Billy Napier.
Billy Napier, right? Right. DJ Lagway was last year the what?
He's the number one quarterback in the nation.
You're right.
So my point is that we're saying he can get a top tier quarterback. That's fine and good. A lot of coaches can get top tier quarterbacks, but what do you do with it?
Yeah, Lane's guys usually up for the Heisman. They don't win it, but they usually up for the Heisman throwing for 4,000 yards or more. That's what I'm saying. They do perform. They're not necessarily
that's what you want the foundation of your program to be, an almost.
I'm just saying that you're better than where you're starting from. If you don't even have that, if you don't have the competition at quarterback worth talking about, yeah, you might want to.
I feel good about being a dog right now.
I
feel about winning.
Hey, I ain't saying I need. I'm talking about.
I'm with you, brother. I'm just saying we're about winning. Not top tier quarterback.
So I got Tim from Talking Sauce. Shawty says no, he doesn't think, and he is a staunch Gator fan. Says no, Florida does not recruit itself. He said, I think because me and him did talk about this one time offline. He said because if it did, then Dan Mullen wouldn't have had a problem. You know what I'm saying? If it recruits itself,
he didn't put forth the effort.
Florida don't have a problem giving athletes.
I don't think. I think because of the state, because the state you're in.
And that's what I said, the landscape changes.
Right.
And Mullen was fundamentally against transfer portal. He did not do the things that were he didn't even like recruiting.
Period.
So when you put somebody in a, not to be a Florida defender, but if you put somebody, a good coach in that scenario who can at least recruit, then to Shawty's point, it's going to recruit itself because the effort is going to be there. Dan Mullen didn't have any effort.
You're saying at least the coach got at least put in the effort.
Absolutely. Every coach.
You got to coach, but I don't think Florida ever lacked talent.
I got
You
it.
got to be in the building.
Well, I can tell you,
Florida lacks coaching. And I also remember too. I think
4 more years.
The year we won,
Cal's
the
point
first
is
year we
Lane
won the
Kiffin
national
might
championship.
change coach. That's like we might give Lane too much credit. I think that's
He might not be that good of a coach.
I think it's proven that he's a good coach.
No, we talking about Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I think it's proven. that
How
he's
has it
a
been
coach.
proven?
I don't know if he's
I mean, he's not.
okay.
What I'm saying is, program that he's going to, the program is not getting worse. They definitely get better. Now they may not they may not exceed to the expectation level that we may want them to be, but every time he goes somewhere, it's almost like a springboard. He has no problem getting a job. If he was such a bad coach, he wouldn't have a problem getting a job. I mean, he would have a problem getting a job.
Well, to Cal's point, I think he's a good offensive play caller. I don't know about head coach because Tennessee, he was only there for a year. At USC, they didn't get better, and he was there for 4 years. They fired him on the tarmac, dog, because of his record.
USC.
USC, Trojans, yeah. So he's not. I don't know if you can say he has a track record of going places and getting them better.
So out of all the Lane experiences, places he don't had one bad experience. When he goes, why he keep getting jobs? If he's so bad.
Some guys are just
Why Doc
great
Rivers?
promoters.
Why Doc Rivers keep getting jobs?
So I would say that no one in here would have him as an OC.
Well, that's not a head coach. That's not a head coach, though.
And I'm not saying that he's not a head coach. He's definitely one of the best 100 and something coaches in America. But I'm saying at the end of the day, he's not a great coach. It's not like he's going to go to Florida or he's going to go to one of these big programs and turn it around. He just hasn't proven that. He's had opportunities. He's been in Tennessee. He didn't make Tennessee better. He was 6-6 in Tennessee.
That's a touchdown.
And as
He was
SC,
6-6 in
his
Tennessee.
recruiting wasn't good at SC, and they actually got kind of worse. That's why they literally fired him on the tarmac getting off the plane.
Okay, I'm not advocating.
All right,
It's not like he's a guy or something. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, point to Cal. Listen, but somebody that does like recruiting is Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer might not be the best head coach, but he definitely infuses energy into Columbia, South Carolina. They have a big game tonight. They taking on the Texas A&M Aggies, where they have a new coach in Mike Elko, who seems to have them on the right track, JB. I mean, they're going into Columbia at 7:30 at night, where it's get kind of crazy down there in Coletown, and it's not somewhere I would want to be tonight with those pass rushes they got for the Gamecocks.
Only thing that Texas A&M killed what they got on that side of the ball, because what I saw Texas A&M prove to me last week was that they can get down and stick to their game plan. Them boys pound that ball, and they ain't necessarily spraying you out and pounding you. They will line up with a few tight ends, and they just gonna tell you what they're gonna do, and they actually get it done. I like the way that they're playing ball, but make no mistake, it is a different type of scenario down there in South Carolina, especially at the night game, because those people had a feverish pitch, man. One of the best shout out to one of the best environments in college football that gets the least amount of coverage and praise. Dope atmosphere down there, but I don't think Texas A&M is gonna go into that building and have too much of a concern, because I'm liking what they're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the championship game.
Well, look, Cal, with the trigger man at Texas A&M, they actually had to pull that guy last week, not because he got hurt, but because he was 6 for 18 and he wasn't getting it done. So they put the freshman in who can actually run, but can't really pass like that. Who you think they're going with to start the game tonight? Because, I mean, if you go with Wegman, who's the pocket passer, now you subject him to South Carolina's pass rush. If you put the young kid in, now you can't throw the ball down the field. And South Carolina actually, surprisingly, has been good against the run this year, and they normally are not good against the run.
Good question, Coach. I think looking at Texas A&M early in the season, seeing Wegman play, the issue with Wegman is he's just one of those guys that if he's playing against inferior competition, he looks really good. If he plays against competition that's almost as good as A&M's or better, he's going to look like a really poor quarterback. So I think that they'll probably start off with the experienced guy, especially because you're on the road, and then you can also come in with that change of pace guy, with the freshman in there especially if he struggles. Even if he doesn't struggle, he hasn't proven to take some snaps away from the freshman. He can come in, provide some packages, and maybe that's how they have to do it this year with the 2-quarterback system, because the rest of the team is ready to go, but their quarterback situation is so unsettled. I think let's have both guys prepared. Let's see maybe who has a hot hand, who can make some plays and get us a victory on the road.
CA, you the coach at Texas A&M going into a hostile environment. Do you agree with Cal? You start with the veteran Wegman pocket passer, or you go with the young freshman who got the legs and the twitch to get a first down if need be?
I'll probably go with the veteran because I need to be as dynamic as possible on offense. You're really susceptible to be one-dimensional because you know that quarterback has legs. That Texas A&M running game is really good. You know, that's where they can make a difference. If they can find success in the run game early, South Carolina's going to have a long day. But I actually believe in that South Carolina front four. You know, they got one of the best fronts in the league. So it'll be a great battle to figure out who's going to win that battle. Texas A&M rushing on offense versus the South Carolina rush defense. Aside from that, I would definitely go with the veteran signal caller because I want to make sure play action is a part of my game plan. I may want to do some of those things early because you are in a hostile environment. When I say hostile, South Carolina's going to recruit this. They're going to have everybody on the sideline. They're going to have the music blaring in the speakers. They're going to have the lights flashing the whole time. You're going to be blinded before kickoff because of the show and the presentation. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a live environment. Responding to that, making sure you don't go out there and make mistakes because they can capitalize on them is going to be important for A&M. So I think the run game is a key factor. Having a veteran in there, making sure you're in the right play is important. The young guy with legs, that's something I might say for the second half.
I like that strategy. Like you said, it's going to be a hostile crowd, and you don't want that freshman to get in there and get deer in the headlights. Shawty, you mentioned earlier, Vegas don't believe that Texas A&M, who's coming off a big win against LSU, they lead in the SEC first place because they ain't got no conference losses. They're going into South Carolina, who is actually like, I want to say like 7th, 8th, or 9th in the conference, and it's only a 3.5-point game.
Yeah, man, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I actually think
Better than anybody.
I think that the actual young guys should start. And to your point, the play action game definitely becomes in Texas A&M favor when the young guy plays because he has such good legs. And to your point, Coach, that you made earlier, he doesn't throw the ball well in a lot, but in last week game he did throw it. He gashed him.
Gotcha.
And he gashed him so good because they couldn't stop the run. And that's what made the play action so much better.
So you got the safety creeping up in the box.
Exactly. Not saying that will work this week, but I do like that extra dimension that the young kid brings in. He makes him play 11-on-11 football, and I think he earned the starting position this week.
Good, all good points, fellas. So we got one more game we're going to talk about, then we're going to get into the Dogs. After we talk about this game, we'll have us a trivia question because we got a giveaway. But the last game outside of the Dogs Florida game is the Bama at LSU. Who needs this game more, Cal? LSU or Bama?
Ooh, man, you're talking about good question. Good question. We talking about the schools or the coach?
Oh, don't do that.
Ooh,
Don't do that.
ooh, take it from whatever angle you want, because hey, it's been some talk about that guy down in Bama now.
Man, they be on you quick down there, don't they?
Hey.
They like, Nick ain't lost 2 games in 10 years.
And you lost a band.
Right, and you done lost the band.
Regardless of how
First time ever.
Right. Right.
It is 2 losses.
And two close wins.
2 close wins.
You said another ball bounce a different way, you know what I'm saying? It might be 3-4 losses.
I mean, if Georgia don't start on 28.
Okay. Cal, who got the pressure? Brian Kelly, Kalen DeBoer?
It's Kalen DeBoer. It's still because, again, it's about expectations. LSU's expectations are critically high. You have to go down there and win.
Yeah.
But I think that he has a little bit more leeway. At Alabama, there is no leeway. Not even 1 year leeway.
Saban still got an office in the building.
He does. He does. And so if things don't go right, if they get another loss, people are going to be calling for his job already. Because at Alabama, the expectation is also too is again, it's championship or bust. And by expanding to 12 teams, if you don't at least make the playoffs,
that's tough.
That's a big blow.
Tough.
That's a big blow, especially coming out again, like you said, they beat us earlier in the year, beat the number one team in the country, and then to look as disappointing as they have the last 4 to 5 weeks is extremely disappointing. Shout out to our young dogs out there in the crowd.
That's right. Getting ready for the game.
Getting ready for the Gators.
That's right. That's right.
I definitely think it's Caleb DeBoer. But I think Brian Kelly has some pressure as well. But I think that he just slightly has a little bit more leeway in that game to lose versus if Caleb DeBoer loses, I think that people are obviously going to be saying, hey, you got to get this guy out of here.
Oh, JB, Bama or LSU? Who needs it more from a coaching standpoint? Or just from this season standpoint.
I'm not going Cal, man. For a long time, man, as a Georgia alumnus and letterman and just being around, I grew up, and I'm from Alabama, so grew up an Alabama fan, and I just knew how rabid I was growing up. Like, I ain't care what happened as long as we were in the SEC championship and we had a chance to win the national championship.
Right.
And that's the expectation of the fan base. When I came to Georgia, it was just different. And I didn't understand that. And so knowing what this man, first of all, this man just followed up the greatest college football coach in college football history. And again, I'm going to repeat this one more time. The man still has an office in the building. Okay? The man still gets calls from folks who don't like what the boy had to say. That's what I'm saying. So the boy has to win this game because there was people calling for him to be fired in the first half or the second half of the Vandy game, let alone after that game was over. So at this point, Brian Kelly, I mean, he has his quirks and, his teams are LSU teams. They perform like we are used to LSU performing. They're doing what LSU normally does. They're right around some of the better teams in the SEC, but, and then they have their gold star years. But at Alabama, every year is supposed to be a gold star year. So the board has the weight of Alabama Nation on his back with this one.
Okay. Shawty, you always talk about quarterbacks. Who you taking in this matchup? Jalen Milroe, the dual threat guy who, when he's hot, throwing the ball, the legs add that added dimension, or Nussmeier, probably one of the best pure passers in the nation.
Ooh, that's tough, man. It's tough. I'm going to have to go with Milroe, man. I'm going to have to go with Milroe.
That's tough right there.
And just based off the way that the college game is played, that's why I'm going with Milroe. But if you're talking about, NFL projections or anything like that, I like the guy on LSU that's pulling the trigger. But just for this particular game, I'm going to go with Milroe, man. And one thing I do like about the boy, what I tell you about him, I like the way that he set up his design runs for his kid. I don't know why a lot of other teams don't do this. I like to give him a lot of credit for setting up the design runs for the kid. And I think Milroe, when he do have a shot to hurt you with his arms, he can. And I like Alabama in the game.
Okay.
I think he got to do that, though, Shawty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At this point, Milroe has shown himself not to be a quality, accurate quarterback that you can depend on. So if you don't use a quarterback who running a 4-3 to run a full right hand, left side sweep, then what kind of coach are you at this point? Because that man probably got notes on his house already and on his car. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that Alabama fans ain't playing no game, so he probably run his wife out there if he had to. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't gonna use Milroe's legs, then what are you doing as a coach at this point?
Right, and they both got some supreme wide receiver talent to throw to. CA Milroe throwing to the young freshman Ryan Williams, who's been making waves all through college football, and then Nussmeier got Lacey out there, the veteran, who probably gonna be a first round wide receiver coming up. Which one of these wide receivers you taking?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, because I know they're going to force the ball to the freshman at Alabama, and Nussmeier does a better job spreading the ball out. He allows his guy to, really make plays when they're available versus forcing the ball to him. He's a little bit more of a polished passer when I look at Nussmeier versus Milroe. So I think the LSU receivers are going to have a lot more success just because they're going to get the ball when they're open. The freshman at Alabama is going to have the opportunities because he'll have those forced attempts. So whether they are successful or not is yet to be seen. But not really a Milroe fan. Yeah, I don't look at him as a quarterback anymore. Because he's had chances to be strong and lead that team in the passing attack. I would definitely do what JB said. It doesn't make sense at this point to not use his legs. You got to go with what you got. And right now, that's probably Alabama's best bet. But I think the wide receivers at LSU are really in a better position. They're number one in a better position because the LSU corners are going to do what every other corner for the rest of the season is going to do. They're going to key on Ryan Williams. They're going to all focus on him because if you stop him, it hadn't been proven that Alabama can beat you otherwise in the passing.
That's true. He's probably going to get about 20 targets today. So shout out to the young freshman, Ryan Williams. Shout out to Kay Hill, a respected Hedges photographer in the comments. We appreciate you, Caitlin. Okay. All right. Listen, we got us a trivia. Shout out to the first lady, respected Hedges, Shelby, right here, going to get our prize for Betty. That's right. Get our prize so we can give away. See how good we know the dogs.
Hey, while we waiting on Shelby, man, we just jump back to Penn State and give them a huge shout out for getting their tight end 17 catches in a game last week. It ain't nothing about Penn State, but it's all about the tight end room. So shout out to them, man. 17 catches is monumental.
I meant to call you after the game too, because I heard the commentator say he looks like the slow Brock Bowers out there.
Slowly wrong. If he's slow, he looks nothing like Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? Put respect on the best college football tight end ever play the game. So don't do that to him.
Well, I tailgate bags.
Gotta get him out the bottom of the tailgate. I'm sorry. I moved those. I'm talking to them.
Right. All right. So our first trivia question is an easy one. We have a over the shoulder.
Yep. So TGK over the shoulder stadium sling bag is clear for all these. I watched over there. An over the shoulder stadium sling bag from tailgate. It's a satchel.
It's a satchel. It's clear, so you can take it into the stadium.
Satchel. Stadium bag.
Y'all figure it out.
And our first lady gonna bring it up for us.
There we go.
Appreciate you, first lady.
All
right, so we got over the stadium sling bag, and you got Tailgate Kings going down the strap, and it is see-through, so you can take it into the stadium.
It is regulation for the Benz, for Sanford, or I'm sorry, that's not Sanford anymore. It's Vince Dooley Field.
Right.
Any stadium, even you can take it down to Gainesville too. Half job.
Right. All right. So our question is, the easy question is, who is UGA's all-time leading receiver? We got a hand in the back. Tell what's that? We got us a winner. Come on up.
Come on up, Dre. Come on up, baby.
Shout out to TE.
Shout out to Dre.
Head coach. Head coach. He had Milton, or he the wide receiver coach. Yeah. Shout out. We appreciate you. Go Dogs. We will have another trivia question later where we'll be giving away a Creature Comfort t-shirt, a Respect the Hedges t-shirt, and a Tailgate Kings satchel. It'll be the big prize we'll do at the end. All right. So we're gonna start talking little Gators, little dogs. First and foremost, I want to talk about this recent news of the cocktail party being moved to Tampa and in the Bend starting in 2026. It'll be alternating. CA, I'm gonna let you start with that. How you feel about that? I mean, you played down in Jacksonville, you know what I'm saying? How you feel about them moving the game?
I don't like it, but it don't matter what I like. To be honest with you, I'm glad it does seem fair. Tampa is another pro town. Taking it to the Benz is another pro town, so you'll still be in an NFL building, which I think is a part of the attraction. When we go to Jacksonville, we get a chance to play on a huge stage as players. The fans still get a chance to make a good trip as far as travel. We will have some offset on the home and home, so I don't know if it'll still be split 50-50. But we've been through that before. Unfortunately, in my time here, we had to do a home and home. And I see some fans shaking their head. I shouldn't even talk about what happened in those games. Horrible, just a horrible experience. So anytime we get away from Jacksonville, I really don't like it. But at the same time, I understand. I think they're going through some renovations at their stadium. So, it'll be something that the fans can look forward to as far as a closer opportunity here in Atlanta and a trip down to Tampa if you get a chance to make it that far.
Okay. We're gonna go around the table, man, just for the people. Hey, thanks for tuning in, people online, to Respect the Hedges on the road here at Creature Comfort. Shout out to Creature Comfort for the venue and having us for the away games, for the UGA games. Always presented by the Tailgate Kings. Listen, man, Tailgate Kings is your one-stop shop for corporate events, tailgates for football. They do it all. Y'all make sure y'all check them out at tailgatekingsatl.com. Also, check out Black Girls Grilling over there. They got pulled pork sandwiches, brats, smoked pound cake, and a banana pudding that they say is to die for.
That man has one of the top 10 mustaches I have ever seen.
Hey, shout out.
Come on over here, my man.
Right.
That took years of
Hey.
dedication right there.
Just a quick reintroduction of the panel for Respect the Hedges. We got former wide receiver Thad Shawty Parker.
Here we go.
Boy.
That's right. We got the coolest fan in the land. It's our guy, Cool Cal.
What up, Cap?
And we got former wide receiver Corey Allen.
Go Dogs.
And we got former tight end Javaris Johnson. I myself am Coach I, UGA alum. Shout out to everybody here at Creature Comforts. See you later, Gators. I like that T-shirt.
There we go.
Right. JB, how you feeling about this moving from Jacksonville, going Tampa and Atlanta, splitting the time?
I like it. I don't like that 5-hour drive, no way. And when it comes down to it, man, I mean, that stadium, it is special. I also think it's a little bit less special since they got rid of the land. It don't hold the same mystique.
That's
not that a lot of folks don't make that a destination game, because I'm sure that Athens has purged a lot of its population and took it down 75. But man, if they keep the dynamic of the game, which to me is the fact that you look at one side of the stadium and it's half Florida, and you look at the other half and it's half Georgia. That's the mystique and the feel and the love, the vibe from that stadium. And again, they're just doing renovations down there also. So this isn't a permanent move, but hey, we actually kind of see it and we like it a little bit.
Right. So it's only for the 2 years while they do the renovation. Cal, are you good with this, or did you want it to be home and home? And like JB said, I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to keep the mystique the same with the half and half, but they could go, home team Georgia and Atlanta, home team Florida and Tampa.
I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, and simple. It just gives us 2 more stadiums to beat them in.
Oh, I like it.
Go
Dogs.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
Shawty, what you think about it?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, man. Between the beer and the barbecue, it's kind of hard to stay focused up here. But just to be honest, man, you have to think a little bit deeper, man. This is gonna be a big plug for our recruiting. So that's one reason it may end up staying the way that it is, because now that we have this game in Atlanta, we can also have our recruits just like a home game, and we can host recruits.
Right.
So I think that's just going to really play a major factor in the long run on which deciding on how this game goes.
And the city show up for the Dogs, man. So to Shawty's point, that economic boost of another Dogs game in the city, Atlanta might be an advocate for the game to stay like it is outside of the Dogs themselves, because Dre loves.
And that's the main reason the mayor of Jacksonville don't want to give it up, because of the economic gains that they have in the game.
Right, and I think that's why they did Atlanta and Tampa and not Gainesville and Athens, because if you get them games in the college campuses again, it's gonna be over, and that's where it's gonna be, because those campuses ain't gonna let that game get back out because of that revenue. Right. The coach is right. Shout out my guy B. The coach is definitely like a recruit. It's easier to host guys at your own stadium than it is.
And then, I don't know if you know, but it was something like when we had that game, like we couldn't host a recruit there because it wasn't considered a home game.
Right. They recently changed that. So because Kirby and a lot of coaches made a big stink about that, about like having these neutral field games. And so he was like, so I think one neutral game a year you get to have your recruits, but it still ain't like having them, showing them the locker room, taking them around campus and giving them that feel for the game. I mean, it's good to have them on the sideline, but I think we win a lot of recruits with the stuff before the sideline.
Come get some barbecue in there. I see you looking. Yeah, you. I see you looking. Come get some beer and barbecue.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
You got the right colors on.
All right, we're going to be here all day. Thank you. Go Dogs.
Go
Hey,
Dogs.
but to that point too, Shawty, if a recruit is going to that game, then they already been on campus. So that's one of those highlight games anyway. You know what I'm saying?
For the recruits we trying to coach. Shout out to the Georgia girls.
Yeah.
First lady. All right, we're gonna move into some strategy and key players for today. What we think? Listen, man, we need to get this win. I don't want to have a second win. Cool, Cal. You know what I'm saying? We took the early loss to. We want to get this win. I don't want to have a loss. My bad. I don't want to have a second SEC loss. That doesn't knock us out, but I like to control our own destiny. You feel me? So, what players need to show up on offense or defense in your estimation for us to get the win tonight?
Easy. Offensively, let's start there. Carson Beck. Carson Beck's got to play better. Let's get back to last year's Carson Beck. Right. He was in that groove. He was smooth with the ball. He was putting it on time, making it easy catches for the guys. Let's get that guy back. Let's get the guy back that's not turning the ball over. If we don't turn the ball over, we beat everybody. It's really simple. If we play the way we played defensively last week, we don't turn the ball over. We don't have to have them go out there and throw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Just don't turn it over.
Just don't turn the ball over. Throw for 250, hand the ball off. We beat teams soundly. And I mean good teams soundly, just like we did Texas a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
So if we can get back to that, I don't think we have a problem offensively. Obviously, as a group, I think the offensive line is seemingly getting a little bit healthier. I want to see them get a little bit more dominant, get a little bit more punch, give ETN a little bit more time, because when he has time to make things happen, ETN can go.
He's special.
Right.
Sure.
He's special, you know, as far as breaking tackles and all of the things that he provides. Another thing offensively, let's catch the ball. Let's make easy throws, easy catches, simple plays. Let's keep drives going. Let's stop killing drives with silly drop passes, penalties, things of that nature. So if we can do that offensively as a whole, I think we'll be fine.
I think in the words of Kirby, let's do simple better.
Let's do simple better.
Right.
Very simple.
I got you. Hey, I'm with you, man. I think Carson Beck we go as he goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has made some good NFL throws, but at times he has just, like David Green said in his interview last week with us, he's been too casual with the ball.
Too casual. I think that was a great point.
That was.
And I would also like to say, even when he doesn't play his best, we can still be the best team in the country. We just can't have 3 turnovers a game, things of that nature. Because defensively and the other things we do, along with the high level of coaching that we have, that's going to keep us in every game. And we saw that in the Alabama game. Even if we get down 28-0, 30-7, we have the ability to always come back. But let's not put ourselves in those positions.
Right. CA, who you looking at today? I mean, we know Carson Beck needs to have a good game, but defensively or offensively, who do you think needs to come with Carson Beck to have that good game?
I think the linebackers need to step up today, because it'll be a bit different from Texas. Texas gave us a platform quarterback to go after. Lagway is going to be on the move. This is the kind of quarterback that has traditionally given us some trouble. So I think we need to make sure we're sound in the run defense. I think Lagway and the running back Ball, number 13, that read option is going to be a part of what Florida does today. We got to make sure we get that in the mouth early. Really don't allow Florida to build any momentum in the run game and try to force them to be one-dimensional, go against my secondary with a freshman quarterback. Yeah, I love that matchup, but I don't want to see him have success running the ball. So I'm looking at the linebacker core, really making sure we protecting it. We're sound on the edge, to make sure we don't allow we don't want to lose contain the outside backers or the defensive ends. I just think run defense overall is going to be important. We got to force Florida to throw the ball against our secondary, and that'll give us a lot of opportunity, because we're going to be vanilla. We're not going to show a lot. We're not going to show a lot on offense or defense. So, as a fan base, we got to get ready to be basic today, but we should be able to beat Florida doing so. And that's a head-to-head matchup. That's a per-man match. That's challenging the roster. So I feel good about that aspect, but I think that linebacker room especially is going to have to step up.
Because we're trying to do simple better, you're saying we're not going to see those exotic stem blitzes that we did against Texas.
If we don't have to.
Right. We just need to beat our man in front of us. And we're getting healthier as the season goes along. To Cal's point on that offensive line, I think Tate Radcliffe is probable tonight, so he should get some snaps. That's going to be huge. We saw the increase in the run blocking when Jared Wilson came back last week, and I mean, week before last, and if we get a healthy Tate Ratledge with Jared Wilson, JB, that guy Frazier might be able to get in there behind ET and get him a little work too.
Problems.
Big problems.
Those guys coming back, man, it looks like it's going to be problems for folks because I think we're being taken advantage of by injuries and our youth that was in the game, right? And you know, guys might have spent some time in Athens, but it's still different when you get in between those lines and you taking those live bullets on. So, you know, getting that depth back, and that does create depth, so that bodes well for us later in the season. But right now, having those guys come back, I really don't want to see Tate play today, honestly, myself.
If you don't have to.
Yeah, because I don't feel like you have to. And I just feel like we saw what happened to Brock last year after he came back at almost like a record pace from the same surgery. And I don't think he was the same Brock. He was dynamic Brock. He was the same guy.
Right. They'll probably have Tate on the snap count.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm just saying, like him going out, maybe catching a roll up on that ankle or something like that is something I just don't want to risk right now if we don't have to. But with that being said, if he gets out there, yeah, and Kirby, we trust, man. Well, you know, I know he can run. And run courses. We trust. Shout out to run courses. They take care of dogs forever and a day.
Right. Shorty, we got Carson Beck on our side. They got DJ Lagway. We know how to do a threat. You know, quarterbacks hurt us. Who in that secondary you looking at? They need to really be on point tonight because in the first half, we don't have Dan Jackson and we don't have our star, Jonell Aguero.
Well, I tell you what, those corners on the outside will have to be able to come up and force and make tackles. This time you got a quarterback who's mobile, who can run the ball. The cornerback's going to have a long day. But they're going to have to play physical at the point of attack. And also, the guy who we love, Malachi Starks. We're going to need him in run support as well, coming up and be that extra man in the box. But that's one thing that Kirby, that we want to do and like to do as a defense. We like to have more in the box that you can block and have those guys on the outside lock up and play man-to-man. So once again, those guys on the outside, they better have their track shoes on today and be ready to be physical.
Just a score update from our resident South Carolina fan in the comments. He says, Miami is on upset watch at halftime. They are down to Duke 21-17. I know that would make our Florida fan happy that Miami is down right now. Oh, man. So, I think I want to see that defensive line play good. I want to see because I think CAU alluded to staying in contain, keeping your rush lane assignments really good because if DJ gets away, he's just like a miracle. He got that quick twitch. He can get first downs really fast. I need them to stay sound, play sound assignment football. You know what I'm saying? So I want that defensive line to show up.
And I'm going to say that, Coach, to your point, and I think all you guys don't hit on all the major points. So to that point, that's why we want to keep it simple today. That's why you don't want to do a lot of stunts and all that kind of stuff today because you can stunt and open up the spot for these guys and open up the lane, let them get free. So that's why we want to just play sound in the pass rush and rush our pass lanes. And just play simple and get simple pressure based off of 4, maybe 5-man rush.
Right, because if you stunt and then you get picked up on the block, that opens up those rush lanes. That's kind of why I think, like CA said, we had a own platform quarterback last game against Quinn Ewers. We could do some of that stuff because he wasn't going to hurt us with the legs. And Jalen Walker having the game of his life didn't hurt either. We need that this week too. I would like to see Jalen Walker again with that front. Damon Wilson, those guys on the edge, Chaz Chambliss, our resident guy. You know what I'm saying? We need him to set that edge for sure because I like that young running back. He is talented down there, you know, for the Gators. So strategy-wise, CA, what would you like to see us do on offense, like from a coaching standpoint, to kind of get this game started?
I want to see Tate Ratledge back. Because I'd love to just run the ball, to be honest with you. I don't want to be too dynamic. I want Florida to feel the pain early, whether it's ETN or my freshman Frazier. I don't care who's carrying the ball, but I'd love for us to dominate the point of attack at least one time this year. This would be a great opportunity to do so. Put their nose in it a little bit. You hit me over there, Florida? Put your nose in it a little bit, make it burn. That way, by the third and fourth quarter, you fold like a tent. Because what I believe is we can make Florida quick. It's going to take a lot. It's not going to be easy because we got to get them to empty that building out too. And when those fans get to walking out, that team is going to lay down. But it's going to require a certain job to be done. We got to punish them. We got to make it hurt a little bit. You know, we got to force ourselves on them, JV. You know, so we're gonna go down that road. We got to take advantage of the situation as much as possible. But I think my line is strong enough to do that. I think Bobo wants to be basic enough to do that. I think we're at the point as far as the health of the roster where we can do that. So I'd love to see us take on the challenge and not be, you know, we ain't got to trick this pony. Let's go out here and be better than they are, and then that'll be enough to break the back.
Shout out to Hina Patel, our resident RTH on-campus correspondent. She's not with us today, but she's in the comments. She says, definitely looking forward to seeing Tate Ratledge back, I think, because of that run game.
You know what I want to say is this right here. I don't think no one at this table, on this panel, is taking the University of Florida lightly.
For sure.
But isn't it amazing how times have changed and we sit up here and we about to go play Florida and it's like, let's just go kick their ass, sorry kids, go kick their ass and just get healthy and come on back home for next week. Right? I mean, times have definitely changed. Like when you don't really see Florida as a threat. Because we've done this show for 4 or 5 years,
right?
And we've always given Florida the respect that I think they deserve. But times have changed. It's a much better team and much better program.
Right. Another score update. Ole Miss is up, as you see on the TV, 35-10. It's not looking good for Sam Pittman. Maybe he can come back and be an offensive line analyst or something. Sam, we welcome you back. Look at Auburn, Slaughter. My bad, JB. Slaughter struggling with
named affectionately. Slaughter.
Cal, you views on the sideline. How you starting this game out offensively?
Aggressive. I want to go out there. Let's get points. If we get the ball, not even get points, let's get a touchdown. Let's go out there. Let's play physical. Like we said, we want to run the football, but I also want to see us play a complete football game on both sides of the ball. Just because it's Florida, they may not be as talented as us. And I know we want to go out there and be basic, but I also want us to go out there and continue to get better, continue to work on the things that we need to work on that's going to help us down the line, such as, again, quarterback to receiver, making simple throws, catching the football, and let's continue to tackle well defensively. Let's not have one of those games where we have a lapse, where we're not tackling well, where we're letting DJ Lagway break tackles, get out, continue drives. Let's make sure to punish him early and often and make him feel like he want to go back to high school.
Right. A recent development on special teams, Shawty, will be without Anthony Evans today. He will not be able to return punts or kicks because of an injury. So who do you want to see? I will take for kick return. I could take maybe we see Michael Jackson III. He transferred in, but we haven't seen him. He did that previously for Southern Cal.
He's still breakdancing back his way into the lineup. He's trying to see what he's going to do.
I'm going to be honest with you, Coach. At that particular position at this point with a guy like Evans not being there, I just want a guy back there who can secure the ball. Yeah. So I just want to keep field position because when you lose Evans, you lose a punt returner, kick returner, and a wide receiver. So that's 3 positions that you got to fill with one guy being out, right?
Right.
So when you have a punt return out like that, once again, I don't need a guy that's going to be dynamic. I just need you to field the ball so we can keep field position.
With that said, I haven't been at practice or anything, but that might scream Dylan Bell. I mean, we know he can secure the ball.
Hey, that's all security right there. He's all security tonight.
Right. And then you're right. We are down a wide receiver because of that. So, JB, we know we've been watching us try to force the ball to Arian to start all the games. Can you envision that? Or are we going to do like CA said, maybe feed these running backs to start the game to kind of physically impose our will on Florida?
That's a pretty good question because, up to this point right here, we've definitely been force feed Arian Smith. I think kind of to the detriment a little bit of the offense, but it still leads me to believe and ask the question, what are these other guys really doing and showing if this is the game plan? Because I believe that Kirby, while he doesn't, he's not the offensive coordinator, Kirby still handles that team with his own kind of iron fist, and he's not going to allow a focus to be placed on a player who they feel isn't ready for that kind of focus. So what are these other guys doing? What is the other guy doing who came from Vanderbilt? What's his name?
London Humphreys.
Where is Humphreys? What is he doing besides dropping the ball on every stage? He had one great touchdown, catch and run earlier in the season, but I haven't seen anything from him. I don't know if I really seen catches. So I need these guys to just come in the game and be adequate. And as far as the to your point, Coach, and to Sean's point, just catch the ball and whoever they put back there. I don't even know who the options are, but whoever that option is, catch the ball and catch the ball.
Right. Shout out to our viewers online. Yeah. This is being broadcast online on the Respect the Hedges YouTube channel, the Fan Addict YouTube channel, Tailgate Kings Facebook, and Fan Addict Facebook. Shout out to our guy, one of the best running backs in UGA history, Robert Edwards, for getting in online saying "Go Dogs." We see you out there, Ari. Right. So look, we got us another trivia coming up. We're gonna give away a Creature Comforts t-shirt. It's a little package. We got a Creature Comfort t-shirt, we got a Respect the Hedges t-shirt, and we got a Tailgate Kings bag, all in one package. Right. So the question is,
I was going to belt too.
All right. So the question is, see how much you know your dogs. Who was the football coach before Vince Dooley?
You got a hand up. Right.
That is a good guess, but incorrect.
That's right. Who else? Who else? Nobody?
Don't be Googling.
The coach before Vince Dooley. You can Google if you need to, since we don't have anybody to get it right.
This is hard.
It was definitely.
It's supposed to be Bulldog.
Right. Hey,
We don't want the A's out.
it's Google. Look at
You got
Lenny.
5
Type
seconds.
it in, Lenny.
5 seconds.
Type it in. Johnny Griffin, we got us a winner. All right, shout out to Lenny.
You say Charlie Griffin?
Johnny Griffin. All right, it's that time of the show where we give our picks. The Dogs are favored by 14.5.
Okay, get your prize. Now.
Right. First lady, you got to make them come up there and get the prize.
Well, come on, walk on up.
Right. They ain't see it on camera. Come on up here
Come
and
on,
get your prize.
prize.
Right. Yeah, shoot. Oh my God, right. All right. So we're gonna go around and do our score predictions. If you have a score prediction, First Lady will come around and get your score prediction. If you do have a score prediction that you want us to say online, raise your hand and First Lady will get there. JB, we'll let you start out. What is your score prediction for the game today?
I'm going pretty much with the same score prediction I wrote on the show on Tuesdays. And oh yeah, by the way, folks, we are Respect the Hedges, the #1 Bulldogs podcast in the land. We ask you guys, we are not just down here, but we have live interactions and shows each Tuesday night, broadcast from YouTube at 8 p.m. So, man, look us up, join us, jump into the chat, and have some good conversation with us because we enjoy you guys, and we hope that you enjoy what we're providing. But I'm running with a 38-14 score. I think that's what I had before, 38-14. I just think we're going to handle them the way that we need to, and then we're just going to choke it down, get out of there, and start focusing on the rest of the season.
Right. No diddy. My score prediction is going to be 31-17 because I think, like CA said earlier, once we get a lead, I think we're gonna run the ball, kind of salt the clock away. CA, what is your score prediction for the game today?
I'm gonna switch it up, man. I think Tate Bradley's factor is gonna be big early. I think we can get up to 42-12. I think we're gonna keep him out of the end zone, let him kick all night. 42-12, Bulldogs.
All right, I got Robert Evans gets in and says 37-17. That looks familiar, Robert. I think so. Robert. I think that looks familiar. Right. Well, Robert Evans put his name on blast for the nation. Cool Cal, what you got for the game today,
I was going to say, some of y'all don't understand what that 37-17 means. That was a lot of years of struggle.
Right.
We broke through that year. That was nice, 97. I'm with Coach. I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I'm going to go 34-17. I think that defensively, I'm looking for us to make a big play, maybe get a score defensively in the game as well.
Oh, I like to hear that. Shawty, what you got on the score prediction? 14.5 is the spread.
Again, man, I think this is a rival game, so I think Florida's going to come out hot, man. You know, it's always a tough game, so I think the game's going to be close early. But I think we do cover. I think we pull out again, 27-10.
27-10. We got any score predictions, First Lady?
35-20.
Hey, come on up. Come on up. We got our guy Stacy,
What you got?
Georgia sports fan extraordinaire. 38-20 Dogs. That's a generous 20. We got a Florida fan up here to give his score prediction. Right.
Hey, John.
Come on, man. College Park Zone.
31-29 Florida. Let's say field goal.
That's a lie.
Okay.
That's why you got about here so fast.
Anybody else want to come up and get their score predictions? Have at it. Come on up. We need somebody. Come on up. Come on up.
Going what?
Come on up. Come
Don't
on
get
up.
scared.
Come on up.
Your microphone ain't gonna bite you.
Right.
Vermont's 35-3.
We'll say it on here first, lady.
35-3.
35-3 from the first lady.
Field goal.
Come on up, bro. Oh, don't do me like that. All right.
It was very petty.
Like JB said earlier, we do a live podcast every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Respect the Hedges YouTube channel. Y'all check us out. We give our thoughts on the upcoming game and a reaction to the game that just passed. We have our first lady who manages our comments. So if y'all get crazy, she does moderate the comments. We got our lady Hina Patel, who's our on-campus correspondent. She gets us great footage. You never know where she's going to be at the tailgate or in the game or at the Bulldog Club. You just don't know. We show that on the show as well. We have interviews with former dogs.
I was just about to say,
I appreciate that, Shawty. I appreciate that.
Go dog.
yeah.
Still got it.
I don't know if you want to.
And shout out to Caitlin Hill, our resident Respect the Hedges photographer, who's not with us today, but normally is here taking pictures. Shout out to our guy Juan over here on the ones and twos, who's going to provide us some music once the podcast is over. We appreciate you being here, even though you are a Mississippi State alum.
You're a Bulldog.
You're a Bulldog, so at least you chose the right mascot. We appreciate y'all having us today. We will be back at halftime to give our thoughts after Creature Comfort does their giveaway. We actually have a giveaway, a third giveaway, right, JB? Raffle?
Yeah, we have a raffle. So we want just, I guess we kind of dropped the ball, should let you guys know at the beginning. But we do have a raffle on our awesome State of Georgia handcrafted G piece that's against one of these pillars right here. I think it's against this one right here. We're gonna have some handcrafted by dog himself, Chris Shaw. So
right here in the corner.
The raffle tickets are $2 each, guys. Take home some of this great craftsmanship, and let's get this W today.
That's right. We appreciate y'all tuning in online, and we appreciate the crowd here at Creature Comfort for listening in and participating with the podcast today. We will be back next week for the Ole Miss game. I think it's a 3:30 kickoff, so the podcast will start around the same time. We will be here all day. Shout out to Black Girls Grilling over there in the corner.
Try to get that plate. Let's get that plate.
Shout out to Creature Comforts for having us. Also, if you want to try something different, there is a Tailgate Kings mix and a Respect the Hedges mix. You can ask for it at the bar. It is pretty good. I would say so myself. If you want the raffle, $2 a ticket for the handcrafted G and on the State of Georgia. The first lady has those. So CA said he might want to take it home, so he got $2. So conflict of interest, right? So, but we will be here all day. Shout out to everybody. Always remember to respect these hedges, and we're going to do like we always do. We're going to call the dogs to get up out of here. So I want everybody to participate and say, go dogs!